Okay, now it's time to go ahead and show you how to do all the sanitizing. Again, it's very important that you sanitize all materials that come into contact with your wine. So first we're going to go ahead and sanitize this. So I've already got this pre-measured in here, so I'm going to go ahead and just put this right in the container. Doesn't take very much to make a gallon of solution here, so just make sure that it's all in there. Now I will not be making a full gallon because I don't really need a full gallon, so this will be a little heavier than what's needed, but it's better to be safe than it is sorry. Let's go ahead and start this. Now the Star San sanitizing solution makes a lot of bubbles. And you can see that it's fizzing up and bubbling pretty good in there. I'd say that's pretty close to a gallon, so I'll go ahead and stop there. And then I'm just going to try to be very careful here. And really make sure this touches about, whoop, there goes a little bit on the floor. And make sure this just touches every aspect of the container. Okay, that's pretty good. I'm going to go ahead and now just dump this in here. Now this is food grade sanitizer, so even though there's still some bubbles in here, we can actually go ahead and add the wine, and when we put the wine in, it'll go ahead and it'll help to sanitize it all the way up. I went ahead and I put everything in here so we can sanitize the rest of the equipment. So I'll just throw everything else in here. You want to keep it in contact for about a minute or so. That way it really makes sure that everything is good and sanitary. Now I have some measuring cups and stuff here that I'm also going to use. This is going to hold the bentonite, so I definitely don't want to get it wet right now. But this is just going to hold some water, so go ahead and also make sure it's all cleaned. Now don't forget the lid. You have to also make sure you do the lid too. There's also all kinds of things that can grow on it as well. Okay, so everything is being sanitized right now, and we will start to add the additives and the bentonite in the container here very shortly. So everything is all sanitized now. The next thing we want to do is, like I said, I like to add the bentonite before adding anything else. That way, as the carbon dioxide comes up from the yeast, the carbon dioxide pushes the clay elements of bentonite up, and then it allows it to go back down and catch other particles in the wine. So you want to use, it says here, use 2.5 teaspoons of bentonite into 2.5 cups of hot water. So I'm going to go ahead and measure out the 2.5 cups here, or the 2.5 teaspoons. This is a half a teaspoon here, so we'll need 5 of these. So that's 2.5. Okay, so there's our bentonite in there. Now it's very important again that you stir that in, keep the water in motion when you add this, otherwise it will bind together and make a big mushy mess because it's a clay substance. So now we need to add 2.5 cups of very hot water. So let's add hot water. Again, this was all sanitized. You can still see the foam down in there. It's not going to hurt anything. Okay. And then we'll just go ahead and pour this in. That's all the water you need. Now this handy dandy thing here is something that is very nice to have. It's a thing that when it's attached to a drill, these blades here open up and then it spins it and then it really circulates. So that's how we're going to keep this circulating. And then we just add the bentonite. Okay. So you can see that the water's kind of turned to a gray color. That's what the bentonite does. So now that that's done, it's time to go ahead and start adding some of the concentrate in. And actually it does not look like this is going to make a white line. It looks like it's going to make red. I was hoping we would have white, but that's okay. It just has white and raspberry in it. So we pour that in. And it's actually not frozen, so that makes it very easy to do. So you just continue to pour all these in, and then make sure that you add the enough water. Again, 2 of these per gallon is all you need. Alright, so we have all of our frozen concentrate now in there, and just by adding 1 cup of this water in with it, I'm already up to 2.5 gallons. So now the next thing we want to do is we just want you to go ahead and top it off with water. We want to get to the 5-gallon mark, so that's what we're going to go ahead and do next. Okay, and that should do it. Now we want to mix this in really good because the concentrate is heavier than what water is. So again, we just want to make sure we do a good mix. So the next thing we want to do is take the specific gravity measurement. This will tell us how much sugar is in there to start off. Okay, so we'll go ahead and just put the hydrometer right in there. And then we take the turkey baster and then we will put it right in there. It's like it's already starting to float a little bit. Add just a little bit more. And that'll do it. Okay, so give it a little twirl there. Make sure there isn't any extra air bubbles. And it looks like we are starting. It's really hard to see here, but that's about 1.050. And again, we want to get down to 1.1. So what we'll do is we'll go ahead and dump this back in here. And now we're going to have to add a lot of sugar. So we'll go ahead and get the cup measurement out here. And this is really a play. You have to kind of just keep adding sugar and then check your reading. Make sure you stir it in between until you get up to the 1.10 or however much that you want for your potential alcohol. So here's a whole cup. I'm going to go ahead and start with 2 whole cups. So there's 2 cups of sugar. Needs a lot of sugar so the yeast can turn that into alcohol. And then mix it up again. So I'm just going to go ahead and off the video now, I'm going to go ahead and just continue to check the specific gravity until I get to 1.100. And if I'm still not there, then I'll add more sugar and I'll continue the process until I get to that point.